Recently, there's a massive amount of people leaving Amazon FBA and moving into setting up their own e-commerce store instead.
All right, sorry for that live, guys. Just as always, we're gonna start tonight with a little bit of a music just to set the tone. Remember, I am you, you are me. We together are the creator of all things. We're connected, family, and there's nothing that can change that. Nothing that can separate us from the love of the Creator. So enjoy this song, I Am by Guru Singh, and we'll get started in 8 minutes, and right around 8 minutes. We got Freedom Grower Rick with us tonight. We're going to wait and see if John from the Best Damn Podcast jumps in. But in the meantime, if y'all would, jump out, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, just get ready for some awesome discussion, especially with what's going on in the world today. Again, just lay back, enjoy the music, and we'll get going here in just a minute. Remember to breathe.
I am who I am, that is that. I am who I am, thank God I am.
Remember all that ever has been and ever will be. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. In this web of time, we're here for such a time as this. So don't trip, family. Perfect love casts out fear. There's nothing that can stop that.
I am who you are looking at. You are who I am, can you imagine that? There is one God and that's a fact. I am who I am, that is that. I am who you are looking at. You are who I am, can you imagine that? There is one God and that's a fact. I am who I am, that is that. I am who you are looking at. You are who I am, can you imagine that? There is one God and that's a fact. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, how we love them. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, how we love them, love them. Joy to the world, peace on the earth. God bless the children, 'cause we love them. God bless the child. Oh,
And I guess we're cutting the song short, family, because I had a low battery, I guess. And so guess what, family? We get to just jump right in. I am going to add Rick to the stream and start my cam. And let's go ahead and unmute my brother Freedom Grower. What's up, man? How are you doing tonight?
How's it going, buddy? Cheers, man.
It's going, brother. It's going. It's going better than I'd expect with all of this shit, all of this drama that's going on. Excuse my language. I know we're on your channels too.
Oh, don't even worry about it. It's not a deal. You know, I cuss on my channel all the time, so
yeah,
not too worried about it.
Well, shit, we usually just sit and jam out for a few minutes and let people jump into the stream. It looks like the creator has something else tonight. We didn't even get halfway through that song.
It's time to go.
It is time
Let's
to
go.
Man.
It's go time.
There's so much, man, and I know that we were waiting to see if John Keane would jump in. John, if you're watching, man, you got the link. Feel free to jump in. We were going to have a roundtable discussion. We had planned on having Jim with the We Are One channel and, of course, Freedom Grower, the Master Grower, Rick.
Not even. What a
grower of universes.
Now, don't start calling me that stuff. That's not true. There's no master growers. That's silly stuff.
It's a grower of universes. Let me just put it that way.
There we go.
We're all master growers.
Master shitty. Hey, we got awesome people in the chat. Hipsy Gypsy, AKJ Frazier, Angel Parody there, Debbie Bell. Some cool people.
Definitely. It's always great energy with the people in the chat, man. Definitely, whether it goes off on their own. What I love is when I go back and read the chat, just all of the things that are added into any information that I might be given, or just, I know sometimes I just run my mouth. And so even when I just get off on a tangent and start running my mouth, man, to see the way that the energy and even just the flow of whatever topic the creator has is continued on in the chat, man. And so you're right, man. Wonderful chat tonight and always. So
it's beautiful to feel the collective energy, you know, everybody coming together.
That energy. How's your energy been, man? How have you been?
We've talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, I've been holding the light, holding the just the positive love vibes, that perspective that we have in us, that I believe is the place of refuge, the place that's nothing missing, nothing broken. And it's been challenged, like I think it has been for everybody. I got a fan that's really loud here. I'm going to shut it off real quick. Just 1 second, brother.
Yeah, go ahead. So while he shuts off that fan, I just want to say, family, I hope your energy has been well. I know that there's been a ton of energy just influxing, and just so many influxes of energy that we've been experiencing that it can really send us on an emotional roller coaster. And so have you been experiencing any of that, bro?
I may turn that on and off at a few points, because when you said make sure to breathe, I have an exhaust fan for this room, and it's that fresh air coming in. I thought about that earlier today in a video I was watching where this gal she was really equating our immune system to oxygenating our blood cells and how important just deep breathing. I think I get aspects of that just through my walks daily, but I'm trying to put an extra emphasis on that for myself, family. I think it's a way to create a balanced pH in your system. There's a lot of proof behind it, actually. There's scientific research that Wim Hof did, where he did studies and had educational facilities monitor the whole process. And then he had test subjects. They would shoot bacteria in their arm. And the ones that actually did his exercises, which were just cold therapy and breathing exercises, they were able to overcome, build their immune system up. So when they had that immune compromise, it was a edge, if you will. And so knowing that we all have that available to tap into, I say, why not, while I'm raising my energy, focus on these inner strengths, things that are available to all of us, because he proved that was not something that was just for him. He did it with a bunch of students, as well as he has a twin brother. So that's pretty crazy. You know, someone with the same genetics, his twin brother could not do what he does, because this is the Iceman, right? He swims under icebergs. He climbs up mountains in his shorts, underwear, swims in iceberg water. And his brother couldn't do any of that. Was like, you know, had all the limitations in his mind. Mm-hmm. So then he taught his brother, and his brother was able to do it. You know, I mean, it just goes to show you, it's not necessarily your genetic makeup there's plenty that's available that we're not tapping into and not unleashing. And I think that's what he shows. And I think it's really beyond the finite. There's so much even more, but that's just scraping the surface.
Definitely, man. And I agree. I just recently, actually, you know, many know if you followed me at all, whether on Facebook or YouTube, I faced an illness recently, and I'm coming through that. And so I came up with I just ran into actually Steve Conover, with I think he does. Oh man, he does work with Jim Hobbs, I believe. And man, they're just amazing dudes. And he shared some things with me on actually one of John's shows, and regarding shedding the blood. The blood that I was shedding was that of the old genetic makeup, and the blood that my body was producing was that of a new genetic makeup being made new. I was shedding. I was purging the old. That had those limitations that you're speaking of. And so I started doing some research, a lot of research in the fields of neurology and neuroscience, and finding out, really just tapping into what possibilities the human body holds if you just tap into a small percentage of it, right? Because there's all this stuff about the dormant DNA and the fact that we only use a small percentage of our brain power. You know, a lot of people are finding that the pineal gland has a lot to do with supernatural realms and supernatural abilities, and that we have all of this in our physiology, right, and in our physical makeup. And so, what does that look like? What do you think that looks like, bro, in this time that we're living in, for all of the things that are available to us that we might not even necessarily know are available to us? I think that, brother, if anybody would be honest with themselves, they would say that they are experiencing, even the most stubborn and person suffering from the deepest cognitive dissonance, has got to admit that there's some shit going on, man, that things are shifting, and we are no matter what culture or religion you follow or you're from, there are there's a shift happening, man. There's some shit going on, and there's a shifting of the guard. There's a change in the time that we're living in. And so what about that's available to us? And what do you think about how that's being manipulated right now in this time, bro? Do you think that people are aware that they're in this hypnotic state? You know, I mean,
definitely not if they're in it, right? But at the same time, there's levels of density. So if we go from an ego standpoint that we're woke as fuck, as some people want to say, you know, like I'm woke, man. You know, it's this is what I say is, you either know what you know or you don't know what you know. So if you were standing on shifting sands, you're finding out right now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, and if you are and you're realizing that, then just acknowledge that and be honest and humble and truthful with where you're at in the process, that, you know, you're a seeker authentically of the truth, and you're willing to do like what we spoke about earlier, whatever it takes to know the truth. You won't be forsaken. You'll find you've never been left or forsaken, actually, but you don't have to fear, because even if you're in a place of density, if your heart is true and you're earnestly seeking with all your heart, mind, and soul and strength, the Almighty, good, right, and true, Most High, you're not going to miss it. It's like you said earlier, man, you really hit on a bunch of things, and I could just keep resonating some of the stuff we talked about, that it will all work for good. All things work for the Most High, man. So if don't be worried or don't be afraid, just be honest. That's what we all need to do right now, is if we have a rock to stand on it, then damn, be thankful and be grateful and stand on that rock, and know in your heart what you see to be true and what you know to be true. And then again, if there's areas where maybe you find out I've still been living this lie and I need to face that in myself. Well, face it, don't wait any longer, because you see the sign of the times, you see what's going around. So it's time to look the man in the mirror. It's time to stand for what's good, right, and true. And it's time to be the change you want to see in the world. And that means rise up and wise up and spiral out of this nonsense that you see going around you. Don't feed into it.
That's deep. I think there's a lot to be said about spiraling out of this. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that we've been sucked into
Totally.
really, and just a mass chaos, confusion, and fear. I mean, it's something that even even people who are aware of these agendas and these tactics, right? Like the Hegelian dialect tactic of problem, reaction, solution, correct? That's what we see playing out in front of us right now. And it is headed into some areas of more control. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think a lot of people are under these just great deceptions, man, that some man is going to save them, whether it's a man coming from the sky, like a man's body floating out from the sky, or aliens, or even, people are worshiping Donald Trump and Q, this Q, this following for Q. It's just, I think that if anybody took a minute to step back and see that the demographic that was targeted, right, like the conservative, gun-toting, prepping, the God-fearing demographic is the one that was targeted with Q. And so it's really gotten the only ones that they sensed any kind of dissent would be coming from. Those are the ones that they targeted with this psyop. But it's a trip. What's
the big deal with Q? I mean, everybody keeps telling me that lately. Q is the main opposition or something, or I mean, I don't even know much about it.
I don't think it's the main opposition, bro. I'm not watching I'm not monitoring the screen right now. I'm jumping into Facebook because I'm gonna try and screen share this thing that my bro showed me, something that I was really following and watching how all this played out. And I had a sense, I really wanted to believe that this is really what's going on, that they're causing this mass panic and locking the country down because they're going after people, locking them up, these corrupt politicians and just these people in Hollywood, etc. A lot of people have this theory that they're going underground. You know what I'm saying? As soon as let me see if I can find this. As soon as they are caught, or like supposedly Tom Hanks has been diagnosed.
Went to a bunker, right?
Right, and so they're saying that he really is in a bunker. That Kobe Bryant.
They're going to knock him out. That's what I've heard too.
In a bunker, and it's one of these super cities in China, right? Because China is actually, when you look at some of the things that are going on in this realm, Israel is looking to China to be the next world superpower. There's all these super cities in China that don't have any populace in there, and so there is actually supposed to be a city somewhere in oh shit, where's the place in Dubai? Maybe
Middle East somewhere.
Somewhere in Dubai that is a city for the Illuminati, essentially, or for this cabal network. And so supposedly what some theories are saying, and I'm not, again, this isn't my truth, I'm not saying one way or the other. I am going to jump into this post that I shared and show this on a screen share, because I think that it's interesting. Some dots that my homie connected, and some things that Source was showing me about the whole thing to begin with the whole follow the white rabbit, and just the symbolism with the Q, with the letter Q, with the numbers behind Q, with the where we go one, we go all of the, just the how they take the first letter for each one of those words, and then you go through the gematria and you do the numbers. And I'm by by no means a gematria expert.
Do you ever go to this gematria effect news? I learned about that from John.
I don't. I haven't. And so that'd be
check it out, man. That's kind of interesting. That's where John was pointing me for a lot of the stuff he was discussing the other night, and I am just learning about it. I peeked through it a bit here.
Yeah. It's I'm gonna blow this up, and hopefully I can get the text with as well. And actually, I'm gonna come back here and throw on the screen share. And let's go here, go screen share, and I'm gonna share this post, man, because it's pretty freaking crazy. And again, I was seeing some things. Okay, so adrenochrome, right?
Oh, nasty stuff. Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Do I even got it on? Is a screen share? Yes.
Yeah, you got it, man. I see it there.
All right. Let me jump in this. Let me jump in this and on my device that I just got battery power backup so I can monitor what's going on, and I can see, especially when I'm in screen share, I don't have two monitors, so I'm working blind here as far as what's being displayed. But adrenochrome, right? Where is the data source? 3B Scientific, Wuhan Corporation. These are chemical vendors. So this shit is being produced for these elitists, for this Kabbalistic network, right? And so some of the theories that I've heard is that it's the bad guys taking out the evil guys, the bad guys taking out the really bad guys. And so basically it's Satan casting out Satan. It's the new world order casting the old world order under the bus. But some theories are saying that they're working together, correct? That they're shipping these people off to underground bunkers. So you look at adrenochrome, right? You see all of this shit put together. And I'm just gonna close this so we can look at the post. Oh shit. It doesn't even have his. Let me see. I'm gonna go to his page and find that post and what he wrote about it, because the correlations that he made really just matched up with some of the shit that I was finding with it. So here's a couple of his posts. Let's see. Actually come up here. Just hang on, man. Sit tight with me. But when we look at that chemical composition, damn it. Let me get on his page. Yo, shout out, Michael. Thanks for always bringing that knowledge, that wisdom. So let me see. Let me scroll down and see if I can find it, man. Sorry for the delay. I didn't even plan on. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this or not, but he was saying make the correlation between the bruised eye, right, and all the things that are going on with adrenochrome users, and look at the way they're mocking. I'm not allowed to talk. I'm not allowed to talk. Why? Because are they working together? Look at the chemical composition and what that looks like. If you flip it on its side, the rabbit. See the rabbit, the Q represents the anus, because there is a whole sodomy ritualism that goes on with these Freemasonic, Kabbalistic secret societies.
It's freaking disgusting.
Yeah, dude, it's about reversing the Kundalini. And so this right here represents the anus. The red represents the blood and the root chakra, the blood of the adrenochrome and the root chakra. And the black represents the melanin. All right. And so let me see. Again, you flip over the chemical composition for adrenochrome, which again came from Wuhan Corporation. What is it? It's a fucking white rabbit, right? And
right.
So follow the white rabbit, follow Q, and I don't know how many pictures I seen with Trump that had he had the fucking black eye. You know what I'm saying? And you follow all of these things, man, and you see how they connect, and how all of this everything is a stage, right? It's all a stage. It's all been set up that way so that what people can be distracted and have that hope in what in man, have that hope in some other BS, bro. And look, another one he posted, you follow the white rabbit and then end up in further mind control with this Q sodomite grand awakening garbage. They clearly using the sex magic in the rabbit like the Baphomet. The symbol Q inside the rabbit shows the flow of the Kundalini looping entering him, and the looping around the rabbit tail would be the tail of Satan, just like Trump in the red dot. Black, white, and red is divide and conquer and draws the red root chakra vibration. And so our subconscious mind has been receiving all of this mind programming that draws us into the lowest chakra, the root chakra, where our passion lies. And they're using our passion to keep us in this kind of hypnotic state. And it is a dark magic, a sex magic. And they use the energies that should be transmuted and shared between a man and a woman, and not only that, but just in even in the love between people, sparks an energy that would cause that rise of the Kundalini to go not just to the pineal gland and cycle back through, as so many people who experience a Kundalini rising, they have it rise up to the pineal and then it falls back down as the mana. But a lot of times when that energy shoots through the crown chakra, then it's wide open for you to receive that light, which is source. And they don't want that. And so they want to trap people into this never-ending cycle of spinning your wheels and looking at all of these other things of, this is where the savior is coming from, this is where the savior is coming from. And so now they've got just about every single demographic out there looking for a savior, whether it's the political demographic or the spiritual demographic. Everybody's looking for this, but they're giving you the truth, just like the whole white rabbit and the adrenochrome flipped on its side, the black eye club, all of these things that show exactly what they're doing. Bro, eyes to see.
Where is the savior?
In you. That's the thing. That's the exciting thing, man.
Isn't that where Christ said it was?
Exactly where he said
and
it was.
And where else? And what did he say we'd try to do? We'd try to make this deity outside of us, this thing riding on the clouds. And from the beginning, the sacred wisdom and knowledge was, don't make graven images. Why? Because this is our nature, is to find something outside of us to worship. And so that was the knowledge that's always been, nothing new under the sun. Don't make a graven image. So what do? We make a book and we say, this is it. This is the great, we'll worship the book. We'll worship the freaking cross, which is, a symbol of magic, of course, whatever you want to label you want to put on it, but it's a way to bring energy in. And then you've got Christ didn't even die on a cross, as far as we know. It was a tree. But the Romans do their thing, and it's all about magic and spells and keeping you stuck in self-lack. And Christ brought a mindset. He showed you where it was. It's a free gift. You can receive it. You can deny it. If you walk away from all Abrahamic religion, want nothing to do with it, I completely respect that. My whole thing is, why are we in self-lack as a species?
Right.
What is that predicated upon? I would propose it's a mindset. It's a way of thinking. I don't know how it can be anything else, because if it's inside, and then who would take accountability for that? How would we ever solve this conundrum, this problem, if we didn't take 100% accountability for the free dome that we can possess.
But
can we possess it? You know what I mean? See, I always go on. Can we possess it? That's the real question. Each person has to answer that. Can they see it, and can they possess a free mind?
But I think that's where it eludes us, is because we seek to possess something that can't be possessed. You see what I'm saying? That it's like, if you look at it, that free mind is that ever
it can't be
world.
Like,
well,
if you don't have something,
because it's already fully yours, because it is you. It is what you are.
But this is the strength of the power that's within you, is you have the ability through your perspective to give your power away and be in a self-like state, and that becomes your reality. It's not a fake thing when you're deprived and depraved and downtrodden, self-lack victim, or when you're in the false sense of superiority where you're the accuser and you're saying I'm better than you and you're judging everyone. When you don't realize your interconnectedness, you put yourself on an island and you create your own hell, and it's a truth. I mean, that's what you experience, and you're fully identified as that. What energy signature, I guess, is what you could look at it as. But so, there's the one that needs to receive does need to receive, but what he needs to receive is the truth that he already is, right? That Christ was pointing to, what's in you. So there's duality there, but you do need, if you're a slave, a master, right? Because you're a slave. Now, you're not really a slave, but how are you going to know that you're not a slave if a master doesn't come and show you this?
Well, see, a slick master can hide himself, and I think that's where we're at right now, is that we've created our own master. And I think it's something that we touched on earlier, is that, we having that divinity of God, and then being that fallen nature of the flesh, right? That we've been both the one who takes the son on the mountaintop and shows him all of the kingdom of the world, and then we've been the son as well. And it's up to us. Are we going to reject this and be willing to move into that space where that space that many of us are holding, where the spirit, that supernatural spirit realm, is actually merging and communicating with the matter realm. And so now it's a spirit matter combination communication that's happening, that many people are freaking out about. And it's symbolized in the movie The Matrix, where homie plugs back in to eat the steak, because all we want is our steak. And it's even playing out in manifesting in a manner that, some people are literally finding that, like, we've had this discussion, there's no condemnation for those that have that anointing, but there is proven positive effects to eating live vegetables and fruits. There's a biophotonic light that is actually alive. It carries information that our genes receive, and our genes actually have a code. I believe that in a video I was watching, they were saying, when these scientists discovered that they could insert some information on a cell into a genetic code, the gene actually reproduced that library, I think 170 times in a very short amount of time. And so our genes are not only capable of receiving code, but multiplying it. And so biophotonic light carries a code. And we talked a little bit about the way that light is transferred. It comes from the yellow sun, the white sun, and it's drawn through, at least there's theories that it's drawn into the black sun, or the black hole, which is on the flip side of the sun. And all of these energies are vibrated through the moon, and they're actually magnetic fields, not just through the moon, but all of these other planets, whether they're solid or some have seen them through telescopes. I think that there's only 4 of them that we found that have been able to say, all right, that could be solid, and the rest are like light vibrations, light reverberations through water, essentially like cymatics. And so these fields are essentially like what our cells are. And so the same cellophane that's around a star is the same kind of field that wraps our cells. And so when we go into a specific state of a frequency like fear, it breaks down the cell wall. And I'm getting off topic, man.
But what is the cellophane, you know? Are you talking about the foam now? I mean, what is the thing that wraps the star? If a firmament or an actual, is it something in the formless or is it something in the form?
From what we can tell, both. There is no separation. There is no separation. It's a manifest.
But then what is the thing without form? If there is no separation,
the thing without form is that field that is reconnecting with the matter now. And so it's always been there. It's a matter of perception, bro.
Is it any less or more than the form?
I believe it's all encompassing.
So, but there's no way you couldn't say it's less or more.
I think that it would be. I think the form is just. I think they can be looked at as equal because the form is created by the formless. And so, especially looking at the way that subatomic particles map genetic structure, given the opportunity, and it actually maps that structure. But not only does it map that structure, and it doesn't just map it and stay that way, but it actually reacts. An experiment that I was researching, they took the gene sample from a subject, and they tested the subject for an emotional response, and the gene, as far as 50 miles away, reacted in the same way when the person was agitated or in a spirit of fear or just confused. The gene would tighten up and coil up, and it would tighten up all those conodes that connect the double helix. And so when he was in a state of love and joy and relaxed and secure, that genome would loosen up and uncoil, and it would cause energy to start flowing between those conodes, right? And so when they took that experiment and they mapped it with another experiment where they actually took that gene that they extracted and they put it in a container, they allowed the subatomic particles in that container to map the same gene, and then they removed the gene, and then so it was in separate parts, that the particles that mapped the gene were actually responding in real time as the gene would to the subject's emotional response. And so that just proved that not only does the emotion affect our genome, but our genome affects the subatomic particles, which is the unseen fields, which is the spiritual field. So it's a cycle, it's a paradox. It's that infinity, that figure 8 infinity, that double field magnetic field that creates itself, that the matter is created by the formless, and the formless is perpetuated and changed and manipulated by the matter as well, because we know that it's our nerve structures. And I've done some amazing research about the tubes, the nanotubes that our nerve structures are made of, and the energy is actually carried through like a vortex, like a black hole, a multi-dimensional vortex. And that's where we can reach the astral realm and other dimensions in our mind. It's the black space in between the neural pathways in our mind. That's the other dimensions. And so
is it space though?
It's an immeasurable space that can't, it's so small that when they tried to measure it, it's
I love doing this though. I'm not trying to bust your chops, but small in comparison to what?
Well, exactly.
It's like, how big is the universe? Because somebody just asked that in my chat. They're like, how big is the universe? I love that type of question, because that's where, if we're all intellectually honest, we go, or like, how far does space go, or how big is space? Because how could it be little if we're talking about beyond the finite. So, and then it goes in as far as it goes out. And then, is it actual space? I actually don't believe in space anymore. I think space is a fallacy. I really do. There's nothing that is nothing. Everything is something, and it's all interconnected through frequencies like you talk, like the toroidal field. Now, that sacred geometry could play out in another beyond finite aspect, because there's beyond finite aspects to the beyond finite. It's just layers and layers and deep of never ending beyond finiteness. So you have spectral geometry playing out on endless planes of reality. The reason why I don't believe that, I know that because I see it in my own mind. I see it in my own mind. There's no way I can put a wall on the finite, because the second I do, I go, what's beyond that? Where can we go next?
Right. Exactly.
So how could there ever be an end to the potential that the Most High created?
Well, and see, that's where there's this paradox that people right now are living either in the future or they're living in the past. And we have the eternal now where all of that is shaped and created. And so all of that is held together, like Colossians 1:16. It's for the Son, right? The Son. All of these things were created in, through, and by him. And because of him, all of these things consist. And that's speaking to us. Christ said that we would be sons of God. He even said, does it not say in your writings that you are gods? You know what I'm saying? And so there is no end to it. We're creating this in the eternal now. We're affecting the past, and we're actually creating the future. And that's where I think a lot of people are stuck in this neural programming. And it is literally a fear-based programming that shuts the cells down. It causes for other frequencies, because that's, like you said, what it all boils down to is conjugating waveforms. And so now we've got the introduction of millimeter waves with 5G, fragmented DNA being introduced to our biological sleeve, which is our body. Our meat modem is receiving fragmented DNA and these toxic metals, and so it's taking us in a direction where our DNA is degrading, and the machine that creates is able to be operated by those who are manipulating those neural pathways via subconscious programming, right? And it causes this flow of energy to go into this machine, which is an overlay, which, again, I hate to bring it back to a movie like The Matrix, but it is literally like a programmed overlay, a machine that's over this aeon, which really should be shining like a pearl, one of the great pearls of wisdom, right? And one of the 7 great pearls. And so this is the 7th aeon, the 7th realm, the 7th pearl that's stuck in this mechanical overlay. And really it's breaking free from that as we're coming to realize this, because, again, as we're all connected through these subatomic particles, literally conjugating waveforms that are crashing together, right? The lateral and the vertical, the horizontal and the vertical waveforms that are coming together and literally holding this whole realm together are gaining strength. And when it's something amazing, like what really opened my mind to this was when you mentioned that it is the infinite expanding, but where is it expanding? Into itself. Remember when we had that conversation?
Yep.
And so that's really, I started seeking that, and it really was like we have the donut or the toroidal, and it is that starting point that expands and is infinite, but goes right back into itself. And so at that center point, we're being brought to that center point, whether we like it or not. That the earth, this field, this realm is being brought back through that figure 8 of the vortex of energy that builds this inertia plane. And as we get closer to that center point, the consciousness of what we consider Earth, which is really we're creating a space in time, as which time isn't even linear. Time is a web, and we're creating this space. So we have to relate a place where we're at. and we have to relate what that looks like. And so people who see a flat earth are probably perceiving a flat earth. People who see a globe are probably perceiving a globe.
You're not in a place. You're a perspective. That's the fallacy, is that there is no, in field theory, that they've already acknowledged space and time in field theory doesn't line up with what we observe in reality. It's much more likened to the quantum consciousness, where when you look at it, you're holding it up with your consciousness. That's even more relatable than the quantum theory, with the entanglement and all this kind of stuff. Is it's really our consciousness. When we stop looking, we're what gives it meaning. We're the perspective. So the reason why we're looking for where does it end out here is because, we're stuck in the mindset of looking for the solutions outside. And what we find is when we go outside, just the same way with the infinite, you find it takes you back inside, because beyond the finite takes you back to the infinite inside. The same thing when you look outside for the solution, the energy brings you all the way back around, and you can call it a toroidal field, a fucking donut if you want, whatever you want to see it as, brings you back to self. And you see, like we acknowledged earlier, there's an equal dual aspect to the nature of being that passes all understanding, this interconnectedness with the Most High, the one body within the spiritual element that we try to frame up with words that then become doctrines and stumbling blocks, and we fight over it and have wars and kill each other. But it's a personal thing. So it's almost like the best thing ever said in the Bible was, go forth and preach the gospel, and if you must, use words, because we don't need words. We can use our actions and say everything we need to say, and then we don't need to fight so much. And that's the biggest problem these days, is our words, these babble words, these spells. We just divide and conquer and fight and tear each other down, and so I don't know. That's my message, is we just gotta, it's an energy thing. It's an energy thing.
Totally. Because I think that's another thing that I found is I've heaped up a lot of knowledge, but really what it all boils down to is where are you at? Are you in that center inertia plane of love? That's really what it boils down to, is love is that center point. And when you reach that center point, I heard it said this way.
Yeah, it's the balance, isn't it?
When you find God, when you get to heaven and you find out that you are God, you know what I'm saying? Because, and you get lonely. You know what I'm saying? And is God really lonely though? No, because we're all fractals of God experiencing itself. You know what I'm saying? And so it does come back.
Or we're not, right? Or we're not, because we've chosen with the power, the free will that is given as a free gift from the Most High, to take on another identity of self-lack, one that has a beginning and an end, an illusion of shifting sands. We built our house on something that will be destroyed, and we will experience that, So we all have to go through that death. We've all done it, whether willingly or unwillingly. It's just part of the process of the sojourner trials traveling through here, these fiery trials.
Mm-hmm. Well, and those trials build you, man. They
do.
Where the sand shifts, because
I never have the perspective without them. Once you go through them, you're thankful. It's kind of like you're afraid to have more, because on one level you understand the power of the Most High ability to refine you, that if you ask, you'll receive. If you want to know more, you'll have to pay the price of refinement to get that wisdom. So how much do you want to be enlightened or awakened, as they say? How much pain are you willing to experience? Because you need the duality. You have to have both perspectives. If you want to have the perspective of peace, you have to know what, creates that allowance for the joy, the happiness. You got to understand the pain. And that's the only way we could be aware, if we were going to be awoke, right? People want to say awoke, then we got to see it all. Definitely. And we are right now. Woo!
Yeah, it's being revealed, man. The apocalypse, right? It's upon us.
I think so.
And I don't think it's going to be this fiery, crashing, burning, I honestly believe that people are going to be seeding their own timeline, right? Where I think people mistook where it says in scripture that, I go and I prepare a place for you, or I believe somewhere in scripture, I can't remember the address, but it speaks about having many kingdoms, right? Or being the ruler over many kingdoms. The faithful servant would be elevated and be a ruler over many kingdoms. I think that we're creating what we see collectively. But I do believe that it takes a very small amount of people collectively to reverse this, because I think that love is greater than all of the fear
Totally.
that we're in scripture, dude. Perfect love casts out fear.
And remember, the devil did that to Christ too, right? He took him to the top and showed him all the kingdoms and said, all this could be yours if you'll just, bend the knee, confess, choose the identity that I've given you as the God of this world. If you'll just take that on, I'll give you all this. And so then we're told we're given kingdoms in the formless world, right? I don't know. I mean, or in heaven, you're given mansions and all this. I look at a lot of it as an opportunity to fall back into the ego again and be like, oh, I mean, let's face it. Some people, they're working towards their 7 virgins, man. They really are like, we're talking billions of people are like, I'm going to, can't wait to get up there where I can have all my concubines that I can have my pleasures all day long.
Right.
And this is what a lot of religions give you. So the main thing I look at is, have you received what you were looking for? If you have, then all you have is love to offer, because you have a cup that's overflowing. So, and this is where you and I are at with this. We seek to build people up, raise their energy. We're not looking for payouts. We're not looking for people to gather around us. We're looking for people to be free, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal, peace and freedom. And so, beyond that, like at a time right now where it's so important to have that space within, I'm like, let's cut straight to the mustard, because I don't want people to continue not receiving and not knowing where peace, freedom, a mind of no condemnation exists. Only you can take accountability for it. If you hear these words, you can't, maybe you're not able to go to church next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great opportunity to go inside and be still and figure out what's going on. If you're fearing everything and feeling scared, look at that. Sit with it. Don't be afraid to acknowledge the emotions and feelings you have, but who's the one that's observing that emotion? And is there a perspective that's not in self-lack? I always say, look for the one that's whole and complete.
Right. Well, that's where you move mountains.
That's where you move mountains. Do greater things, right? That's where we're going to do it. Exactly. We got to have the mindset. How are we going to move mountains and do greater things if we don't know, if we don't have the confidence? We're going to let another man tell us, well, he's trying to be a Christ deity or something. He's got a Christ complex. No, I claim the truth. What are you talking about? You want a mind of self-lack? Go ahead. I know I've only used 3% of my brain for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they put 3% to limit it because it's beyond the finite. The mindset of Christ is not limited to 100%. So we're just fractaled out. We need to come back to the body, and then everything's available. And then, we'll move mountains. I saw people moving shit today, and I know you're having amazing things too, right? So the energy's real, man. It's coming out. It's powerful.
It really is. And it's communicating with us. That's the thing, is that energy never dies. It just transmutes. And so, as you said, the ancestors come through us, but that energy that was, so the fractalized energy, and this is what I think is just one of those paradoxes, that I don't care how woke you are or how connected you are. It's one of those things where the human mind, can we really wrap it around the way that this energy source, right? You could look at it as one brain or a consciousness or whatever. As it was fractalized, there was individualized creations out of the energy waves, essentially energy waves, right? And so we are these fractalized energy waves, but when we all come together, man, That's the music that's going to be sung and heard in heaven, that's being sung 24 hours a day to God. It's us, man. We are those individual frequencies that are like fingerprints that when they all come together harmonize. And as we start coming together, we're seeing this song played and we're actually feeling it, because you can feel music, right? It's a vibrational frequency. And so you can actually perceive it through your other senses. And that's what's happening, man. Is that's what I'm seeing anyway happening, is that as we're all coming to this knowledge through these emotions, energy in motion, that's what it's happening. Energy is being put in motion. No two ways about it. Energy is being put in motion in this realm right now as we shift into a new age, and people are feeling that, and people are being moved by that. And that's where we all are going to realize that we can create something different when we move out of that area of self-lack, take that personal responsibility and accountability, and say, I don't consent anymore to being somebody else's energy Tesla coil battery to create their own real reality. And we see so many seedings of these realities that again create this collective reality that we're all experiencing. I don't know.
Totally. I feel you, brother. Somebody said in the chat on my channel, like, I think you smoked one too many, Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what you hear a lot. This is all I have to say to anyone. I love you. I appreciate you for listening. I thank you so much for considering what I have to say and the perspective. Just the fact that you gave energy and time to listen to what we're saying here means the world to me. You know, it means not even the world. It just means great respect. And I'm honored that you would give your attention like that. And I would just say, you know, have you received? Do you have freedom? Do you have peace that passes understanding? Do you have condemnation in your mind? Are you in a state of self-lack? If you are, is it possible to not be? How would that happen? Who would be accountable to it? Who would be responsible to it? How would that manifest? How would that play out on a physical and a spiritual plane? Do you have the perspective to see that? And if you do, that's amazing, you know, right? Because now you have something to work with. But if you don't, how would you get that? Well, the spiritual lessons are you have to humble yourself to receive. You'd have to, you know, be willing to realize that the one that's trying to solve it is not the one with the solution. Because that fractal perspective of the ego that's in self-lack can only cease to fail. That's what that one does. It doesn't know anything. It can't even tell you what a cup is. I always go back to that, you know. As soon as someone can actually tell me what this cup is, beyond telling me it's me, you know what I mean? Like, that's the closest thing science can tell me, is that I'm the fucking cup, basically. What is the cup, brother? Help me. What is the cup? You know? But let me just say this one thing. Just make sure you receive. I'm not the source of all truth, right? Or maybe I am. And I don't need to add anything to I am. I can just in right there. I just am. Right? So what are you? That's what you need to, you have to define that for yourself, friend. And if you don't have self-lack, then I have nothing to offer you. And if you do have self-lack, I still have nothing to offer you. I can only point you to where I found the truth. And I know you won't find it in me, because no man can know another man's spirit. So you would have to have my perspective to see what I see. So you can only see what is in you. And the thing I most caution is people see scary things when they look inside. You have to take accountability for that. No one else can. That's your inner work that you have to do. So again, what is the cup?
My only answer is the cup is what you make it.
Right. I could put gasoline in it. I could put it on my head and make it a hat. I could freaking capture rainwater with it. I could urinate in it, make it a toilet. Could grow plants in it. Kind-ass ganja. I mean,
there's the choice of infinity. I mean, we have infinite choices of we are creators, and we literally can create on that basic, most minute level of I can get up right now and I can go take a shit. I can get up and I can go run around outside naked. I mean, that might get me locked up, but you know what I'm saying? I can go shoot my gun off in the air. I got a million and one choices. I got
Isn't that beautiful?
choices of
Love
what
that perspective.
in this moment right now. And what are those limitations and how were they built? Because we know that the human body and the human mind are capable of some amazing things, supernatural things. And so, what is that limitation? Where does it come from? And I say that it comes from that subconscious programming of letting somebody else write the script for you. You know what I'm saying? You're playing an extra in your own
Exactly.
movie, like you're playing an extra
Exactly.
own movie, man, and you're letting
And that
somebody
can
else.
only happen if you give your power to that script. You're the one who chooses to take on that false identity, that illusion, that lie.
Yes, because
Yeah, man.
you can recreate who you are because you're not limited, and you're not limited even to the limitations that society puts on us. Because here's the thing: humanity has put limitations on itself, and as we come to know these things, we will literally physically be able to move mountains. And I believe that. I believe that 100%. So if there's and nothing against people that are bringing out the things that are manifesting in this reality, very real things, very, very things that we are not just perceiving in some fantasy land, things that are playing out very real, things that concern me from my kids. I have two kids. One's an adult, but I have two kids. I love them. My wife, I love my wife. My family, I love my family. There's some very real shit happening right now. All of this stuff about planets and asteroids and cataclysms. We need to come to the understanding that as real as that is, we have power over that. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Nothing, not a fucking asteroid coming from the sky. As many of the things that we want to take from scripture and all of these ancient writings and say it was written, well, you know what? It was written for a reason, and we can rewrite that shit. Literally. Literally. And that's what I've been finding that has been proven on so many levels, from the spiritual level in historic writings, in things that who knows, maybe they're bullshit, maybe they're made up, but
Yeah,
things, you know, people went
exactly.
an extraordinary amount of effort exhorted to hide this shit, to do away with these writings, to
Yes.
even once they've been found, to discredit them, and again to discredit anybody who put any weight behind these writings, and unlocked some of the secrets behind these writings, the secrets of healing, the secrets of supernatural healing, and that knowing that if you're in that field that we call the will of the Father, that we can literally do anything. We can change this whole realm. And I believe that's what I've been shown. That's what many of us have been woken up for, is that we will be that shield. We will be that new firmament. We will be that new Van Allen belt, that instead of withholding harmful radiation, we will block out that which anybody tried to transplant it through neurological programming, again, that operates the machine that creates from dark matter, which is the mind coupled
Yeah.
with heart.
You know, I'm going to say something that I think might be a point of contention, or there might be some people that would say this is heretical, but I'm just going to make this point, bro. I think when the Bible or sacred texts say, if you would only believe, right? That was kind of twisted through the Hebrew words to really give us this idea that we need to have a blind faith. You know, that's the way the Catholic Church, the Romans, and then all the other, you know, many thousands of Abrahamic denominations. It's all about this blind kind of faith thing. And then they tell you, well, it's not blind faith. You need to research it out. But then when you research it out, it's like all contradictions and lies. And you're like, yeah, well, why did, Abraham put his knife to his kid's head and, God tempted him to do it, but then he says he never tempted anyone. You just run into all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So point being, I think when he said, if you'd only believe what he was talking, where could you believe? Well, it's in your mind. So you'd have to see it, right? So if you could only see it, I'm just going to put that interpretation there, because you know what? Pastors sit there and interpret all day long. And I think people have trouble taking this from like spiritual teachings to practical reality that you could actually work out within your experience. So, so it's experiential for you. So if you could only see it, how would you ever be able to move mountains? How would you ever be able to accomplish the unthinkable if you weren't able to know it, see it, be confident of it, and have the mindset of that endless capability, nothing missing, nothing broken. It's all there available to you. You would have to first have that for that even, and that's not an ego, but where else are you going to find that potential? Because no one out here is going to tell you that. They're going to say, oh man, you smoke too many. Dude, you're lost, man. Come back to church. Yo, bro, this whole spiritual thing, let's go make some money and, bang some hoes or do whatever, whatever the world wants you to do. And so I don't know if any of that makes sense, man.
No, it does. It does.
But where's that? This belief thing? Well, belief happens in your mind. So what does that look like? Is that a state of wanting? It tells you not to have blind faith. So the world leaves you in just, oh, I'm believing. No, you have to work this shit out up here. You have to see the impact you're going to make, the potential of your brother and your sister. And I see a beautiful, beautiful world, man, where we're all working together in harmony. We have communities. We're loving each other. We're growing the most amazing vegetables and mineral-rich soil. Our water's clean and pure. I see a Garden of Eden in my mind.
All right, guys. I think we're back. Had a little hiccup with the connection.
Oh, I said, well, we got it on my channel.
Oh, man. All right, I'm gonna have to snag that off and put that little 20-second excerpt up there.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
My bro, Cannabis Cowboy, is going to be a grandpa 42. I got to give him a shout out, man. That's so freaking awesome. Right. Cheers, right, buddy. Congratulations, dude. Yeah, man, that would be exciting.
Yeah, I'm hoping I don't have.
You got kicked off. They didn't like the free dome speech, huh?
No, they didn't.
The Matrix. Okay, I get it. Not the first time I've had that message. It's all right.
Nope, you caused a wave. You caused a wave, man.
Well, my wife, she cannot own a computer for more than 2 years, man, or a phone. Yes, her energy. I've seen it over and over again, and I give her such a hard time, man, because she always wants to have the most expensive Mac, right? And to her credit, she hasn't bought a new one for a long time. Maybe if this is not the end of the apocalypse and we have a few more years, we'll get another Mac before the fire comes. But yeah, she can't make them last. Literally in 6 months, dude, they need to be reset, going for warranty work. They got to replace shit. Her phone, same thing, everything.
You know what that means, right?
She's got some amazing energy, man. And I know, I'm thankful I told her tonight, I'm so thankful to just be with you in this time. I wouldn't want to spend it with anybody else. I really am. I got amazing. I don't even like to use the word wife anymore, man. So it feels degrading, man. She's my queen, dude. She's like fucking, a warrior of peace and love.
I feel you, man.
Very steady.
My wife, she's sitting right here in front of me. And so, but I don't give a fuck. I'll gas her up if she's sitting right here. I don't care.
I'm like this, dude. Woo, woo. My wife's like,
it is that energy that levels everything out, man. Like you said, it's much more than a label like wife. It is, it's those fields working together, right? It's that I think
she's
that
royalty in my book, man. That's why I like to put it as royalty. If ever there was royalty, she's family. You know, I mean, and this is I don't think a bad way to look at it. Other people look at it that way.
No, I think that there is a lot to be said about the energy, though, that our wives can bring when we're experiencing the information that could come through some of these. I don't know. People get weirded out when you call them light codes, but that's really what it is. It's information that comes through biophotonic light, and it comes not only through the light of the sun, but it comes through vegetables. It comes through plants, the plants that we eat. I mean, shit.
Everything
It's produced
from
in marijuana.
what doesn't of what we can observe. Now, there's something beyond photonic light, but of what we can observe, or maybe the space. No, it's all biophotonic light. What is not?
Well, I think there's refractory light and shit like that. But again, all of it is that biophotonic light. Look at it this way: is the entire
biophotonic is not physical. It's still energy.
No,
so what we refract off?
it is. It's pure energy.
Yeah. So
the zero point of nothingness, and so
what could it refract off? You see what I'm saying? Like everything is a toroidal field of energy, and so when they try to make one spot not encompass that, it creates the conundrum again of in relation to what in a space and time theory, in a finite, because it either is a perspective we hold and it's all interconnected within that perspective, or there's something outside that's actually playing a part in it, and it deals with a space thing that's, we're detached from it essentially. Do you get that? Like there's either something there that you are not, it's not in you, that's different, or it all is the same thing. And biophotonic light could be just a signpost to point to. Put it this way, okay? Modern science says if you're holding a football and you throw it to your friend, you never actually held the football and your friend never actually caught it because there's space in between you and the football. Or you could take the dualistic side of that theory and say, actually, you never were not touching the football because you were interconnected to everything. And a lot of people don't say this side to it. This is the one I'm proposing. I'd say is more likely is that, in fact, someone else didn't even throw me the football because I'm connected to you. So when you threw it, a fractal of me was throwing the football, and the football was. So if you're looking at it from a physics and a science standpoint, there either is space separating stuff or there is no separation. And there's a big spiritual significance, I think, depending on where you stand on those two observations.
Now, do you think that it can be both?
Well, so the whole idea beyond,
because here's the thing, because here's why I asked, bro.
Okay.
Here's why I ask, because if you look at it in the spectrum of light, there's the whole light, 100%. And we talked about this as well earlier. Now, when that light, or maybe we haven't talked about this, maybe this is something I was talking about with Jim. I was trying to get Jim on the show as well. So when that light, if we look at biophotonic light, this light as a whole spectrum, when it comes through whatever we want to perceive it as the glass dome, the Van Allen belts, the Van Allen radiation belts, the toroidal field, whatever you want to perceive, when that light hits this field, it is refracted into a 66% of what it was. That's the 66% of the 66% layout on the pyramid. And so you've got each 6%, and then we know the 6 protons, neutrons, electrons, and the carbon base man form of 666. And so that's how that all correlates. So it is still that biophotonic light, but that's only a fractal of that light. And so that biophotonic light that comes in the field that's unseen, that is actually another conjugating wave.
What it fractaled through, though, was a denser form of biophotonic light, right? Because the denser layer was made up of something. What was it made up of? Biophotonic light. So it fractaled through something that was closer to an illusion of solidarity, closer to a form of the formless becoming form, which is all the light, right, is moving into more dense forms of energy, then finally into what we perceive as solid matter. So what did it fractal through?
Well, by the time it gets to that solid matter, I think it's already a fractal, because what happens is you look at everything as a wave, right? Everything is a wave.
When it's light, to get fractaling out, because that's how we get the 60%, which also, arguably would be how you get all the colors, right? You take
that is, yeah, the
pull the light,
rainbow spectrum.
Yeah, so you took it, but what is the lens is all I'm saying, bro. Is it really all it is biophotonic light, because light is what becomes matter and mass. That's what's forming it up, as far as what we know anyway. I mean, that's could be an argued point. I mean, but what do you think about that? Like, what else could it be? Anything else other than energy?
Well, and no, I think everything is energy. I think everything is energy. I think it's what is that energy transmuted into, because it can't be whole if it's transmuted into a platonic solid, because the platonic solid is made up of straight lines. And so what the platonic solid is it's the division of that conjugating waveform. It's divided into a form of matter. That's the whole division of matter. That's math. Ma'at is the matter that's been divided, and so it kills the biophotonic light. It's almost like when I seen this graphic where it's a piece of broccoli, it's a carrot, it's vegetables, and when they were in their raw state, you see the field through the I forget what kind of a spectrum of camera it is, but it reads the basically what we refer to as an aura, the field, the biomagnetic field that's around the object. And so on this cooked piece of
the rock that went in, it's the ripple that comes out.
And so that once that food is cooked, it takes away from that biophotonic light, which makes it's not whole. And so it gives a coating. It gives literally a coating, a numerical coating. And so just like is fractal down.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
Light.
Oh shoot, I don't want to miss it. I lost like the past 10 seconds there.
So biophotonic light in its whole state is it carries information, whether it's in its whole state or not. So the cooked, you talked the part about the cooked vegetables. And so when that cooking of the vegetables, it gives a coating into that light, which dims the light, and that coating is one of. And so that's why even when we eat meat, it's actually the state that animal was in when it was being killed. That's why they adrenalize the blood of the children when they make adrenochrome, is because it puts it in a certain state. And so that's the same thing with this light that's fractalized. It's in a state that's not pure, and it gives a different coating. And so that's where it's that deceived coating. That's where we're deceived by Lucifer, or the light that's in this realm that came through that platonic solid that was originally biophotonic light, but it's been decoded and flipped, which again creates this world of duality, this realm of an incomplete state, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we're in an incomplete state, which even though all things are made of this light, as it's fractalized, that's where we're where the paradox comes in, that we're incomplete, but we're complete. We're there. I think original sin is bullshit, but I do think that there is an aspect that we are the fallen light and we are
Yeah.
God himself. Like we're the sons of God. We have that genetic coding of the light of source of that energy.
Can
And
we
so,
chop it up on the space though more? Can we go further down that rabbit hole?
yeah, as far as space, like what NASA is
Because
projecting
like
space.
you said, is it possible for there to be both, right? Could you have no space and space? So I just, what's your view? Do you think there is space? Like a nothingness?
Yeah, and I think that space of nothingness can be found right now in this web of now when we go inside.
Yeah. And then the nothingness, um, encompassing what we see outside of us, expanding outward. Do you think there is an end to the where the space goes out?
I don't believe that there's an end. No, I don't, because I don't think that energy is. I don't think that there's an end to that energy. I think it's always transmuted or recreated, and I think that that's where we'll have all of these different realms that we'll experience as whether it be extraterrestrials or more advanced human beings, or
Yeah.
coming back to the ancient stories of who was it? Damn it, who was it? Lamech? No, who was it that lived to
I'm
be
not
almost
sure.
years? But I mean, we've got Noah's grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
that lived to be almost 1,000 years, and so I think that is available to us,
Oh
and
yeah. Or
that
much
it's
more, right?
re-
Much greater.
recreating. Oh, definitely in the physical and that space of nothingness. I
Yeah.
think that's why the physical is what it is. Again, it's all created in, through, by, and for us, and because of it, because of us, all of it consists.
And
And
is
so,
that something that when you're saying it goes on forever outward, is that something that in your mind you can comprehend, like inside the dome? Can that, or does it completely pass understanding, or is it something that the mind can wrap itself around, that it goes on forever?
yes, exactly.
Because this is the only thing I'm trying to present here. Think about this perspective, that if space is a fallacy, which is what I'm proposing, because we can't comprehend space going on forever, we're like, where does that exist at, right? Where is it happening at in relation to what? It's expanding on forever into what, right? If it's expanding on, it's expanding into more space. So that means you can never have an end. It has, like we're saying, it has to go on and on and on. Well, think about this. There is no space. It's only perspective. What you're seeing, it's the quantum consciousness. So that's why the fallacy of space causes us to have a belief of something that we can't comprehend, that it's going to continually, but really it's, the material is all an illusion. It's all biophotonic light. It's all energy, like you're saying, because they say all mass, all matter is essentially light. It's not, it's all an illusion of solidarity. There's nothing here that we can actually, hold on to as matter and solid that's not going to change. That it's, none of it's reliable is what I'm saying. It literally will shift in, less than a lifetime, which is not much in a realm of space field time theory, which is actually irrelevant to what I'm saying, because none of that exists. Space field time is not relevant because it only exists based on your consciousness. So space, how far out, how far in does it go? Time, how long is it? It's only based off your consciousness. Otherwise, it has no meaning. It has no perspective. So if it's not looked at, what is out there? I don't know. You'd have to go explore and find, but it's the same thing you see inside your mind. You have to go explore and find, as within, so without, as above, so below. So it's playing in dualistic natures on all fields and all planes of outside the finite, never ending, expanding, consciousness, reality, all options on the table. but yet where is it happening? It's happening here, not out. Well, it is happening out there too, but what's happening out there? It's not space. It's all
only
interconnectedness.
out there because it is all in here. And so I think maybe we're just
chicken or the egg.
Exactly. And I think that maybe I just wasn't communicating clearly. I think I'm right on.
No, you're
right.
perfect. I'm just throwing multiple perspectives, man.
I think that space, if you look at it like space as NASA frames it and as mankind frames it, space is really just a manifestation of what's going on in the subconscious mind. Like you said, where there is no point, where that infinity expands back into itself, because there is no never-ending point. It's infinite, but it comes back to itself. And so always. I see it like you said, the macro, micro, the as within, so without, as above, so below. As I see that never expanding field, I see the galaxy, I see the toroidal field of that inertia plane, and both fields of both magnetic fields on each side of the inertia plane that causes that figure 8, that infinite energy. But I see that expanding into multiple, endless of those universes, because we each have not just a universe, but multiple universes inside of us. Yeah, every cell is a universe. Every cell can be broken down to, I've seen it, are where the theory of whether it's inner Earth or an egg theory, or a concave Earth theory, all of these different theories can be broken down like a cell, because you've got the outer wall and you've got the crust and you've got all, and actually some of I've seen some broken down amazingly that lead to the cosmic egg theory that Martin Kenney put out there, that I think puts really in perspective and draws every theory, like inner Earth, or the concave Earth theory, flat Earth theory, and globe Earth theory, can all be fit into this model. But it all
it's fluid.
It is fluid, and it all comes back to what you said. It's a matter of perspective. We are creating this.
Yeah.
And so as it all comes together, what we're experiencing is a collective manifestation of our individual perspective and aspect of what we're creating, because we need to feel like we're at a point in time and space when to even have a creation, to be experiencing this type of realm, we have to create this time and space. And so yes,
it's real if you don't show up to work on time, right? Then time and space becomes real. You showed up to the wrong place. You work at Kentucky Fried Chicken. You showed up at McDonald's.
Yeah.
But the thing about the fluid that's trippy is you realize it's happening on, even though you have your perspective, it's happening on multiple perspectives that you're not even seeing. And that's also because the limited view of the fractal, but also the limited nature of the self-lack identity we've taken on, which is an illusion. But in the mind, we're only using, they say 3%. Again, I say it's beyond the finite. But all that is playing in this, game we call life, where the more you realize all of it, you say, it's perfect. I love it, because if I don't have the self-lack, then I don't learn, I don't get the wisdom. If I don't get my ass kicked and get bullied and, learn to have compassion and love and treat my neighbors, I want to be treated, then I got nothing to offer. So I got to go through these fiery trials. I got to get, dwindled down, burnt to nothingness, to find the somethingness that nobody else will be able to see but you, because you are unique. You're beautifully a perfect thumbprint, and the Most High made you that way. Every single hair on your head, everything about you is beautiful. And I thought about that tonight when I was holding my daughter, and I gave her a big hug and just told her how much I loved her. And it's like, as a man, you grow up, women are, looked at as you want to go date them, all this stuff, and you're thinking about your daughter growing up, and it's like the judgment. She's got to go like get a man to want to respect her and love her. And I'm looking at her just going, you're perfect. You're my perfect little baby girl, How could anyone ever judge you? But she's my little daughter, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, this is the world she's going to go in, where she's got to, so in 1 second, the female is beautiful, the body, the energy, everything, but she also has to go in the world and attract a man with her body. On some level, it's kind of fucked up when you think about it. My little baby girl is going to have to go out there and try to, sell herself in some way, because that's what the society does. The Miley viruses, right? Basically wearing nothing. And I don't know, man, it's all perspectives, but I have my perspective, and I'm a family man. I like family values. I wasn't always that way. I want to do what's good, right, and true for myself, my community, the people around me. And we're doing this, brother. We're fucking doing it. And my friend Mike, the Safe Ride Squat, said tonight, he's got a whole business that he's done for his community, where all he does is take people who are drunk at the bar and get them home safely so they don't kill someone. And with this whole crisis, he turned on a dime, because, he's not looking for someone to be the change. He is the social service. And he's delivering food and I'm like, damn, dude, you made me so encouraged, bro. And that's like, and we can all do this. We don't need, permission to be what we want to see. And that's the beautiful thing, man. It's right here. It's free will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's where we are being the change. And I think that you touched on a couple of things, just really sync some things up for me. And you said, that fingerprint, and where we're at right now in time, and what we're experiencing with this propagation of fear porn. And again, really what it boils down to is seeding of these scenarios that can be created by our subconscious minds, and what a lot of people are experiencing right now, why they're feeling overwhelmed emotionally and breaking up. And we've talked about this, is the way that we are all connected spiritually, and this rising of energy, whether you want to call it Kundalini energy, Christic energy, anointing energy, Holy Spirit energy, whatever you want to call it, Shekinah energy, that Spirit of God is rising up and causing us to see things and feel things that other people are experiencing. And much like what you hear in the spiritual realm, people speaking of empaths that, people that can feel and absorb other people's energies, can tell these things. And so people that never had or experienced this extrasensory perception are coming online with this, right? And it's not just because of the fact that that anointing spirit of Christ is falling. That's partially it. That's why a lot of people are connecting and syncing up this message of Christ, and this message of love, and this message of creation, and creating this, and shielding this, and being that change. But the ones that are locked into a deep hypnosis are also kind of experiencing this. And this is why the energy is rising in the way that it is, going this other direction, and things are getting worse, or seemingly getting worse, is because there is a connection. What we know, that whatever the creator makes, the enemy tries to duplicate, right? And so with this nanotechnology that's being put out through GMOs, through chemtrails, through vaccines, through all of this various avenues that they're getting this nanotechnology to try and bring up a hive mind, a linked up hive mind that's ran by an AI. So this whole transhumanism agenda that's been seeded has been being seeded since movies were being created since a lie to your vision has been
I heard what
created.
you
It's
said,
been
but you're starting to
seeded.
break up. You're saying since the Hollywood entertainment,
Let me see.
this stuff's been seeded in our minds.
Hold on.
It's all good, man. It just broke up a little bit there.
Give me one.
Could be on my end too. Up, lost you. Oh wait. Yo, Black Coffee, thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, I think we're back on. Is that a better connection?
Okay. Yeah,
Are
you
you
sound
there?
great. Yeah, you sound real good, man.
All right. So where I was going with that is that this reality that we're experiencing is something that's been seeded subconsciously because we are co-creators. And so this seeding of this reality that's been put into the minds of the sleepers, even when I most recently was sharing a bunch of shit about this agenda and that agenda, and they're pointing fingers at this is the leaders of this network and that network. And so we gain this knowledge and we feel like we know these things, and when in reality, what are we creating when we're perpetuating the seeding of this person has power over you, just propagating that disempowered spirit in people, right? But with all of this that's been seeded, uh, these things are very real with this transhumanism agenda and AI, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that people have come online through that Christic energy is something that was foreseen through. We got to chop it up about Project Looking Glass. Have you heard about Project Looking Glass?
Pretty sure you told me about it. I
Yeah,
think you might have brought it to my attention.
so, dude, I've been doing a lot of deep research on that and looking through some declassified CIA files regarding that and Project Montauk, which is connected to that. And the way that these observation tools were created were much designed, much like the pineal gland. And so they used crystals that vibrated a certain frequency to look into these other dimensions or these other realms and see all of these possible outcomes, much like the encoding in the Bible code that's in the Torah that we were talking about earlier. And so they're trying to figure out these mathematical equations and outcomes, but they've all seen just one particular outcome, and it is that critical mass of quantum consciousness of the masses coming online with this Christic energy, Christ coming back in the spirit of man and revealing all of these things, the usury system, and even this reality that they're trying to divert, and it's going to be an endless fight. They know what the end is because they've seen it through Project Looking Glass. That we overcome. Love is one. We have overcome. There is a new heaven and new earth, just as was prophesied, and that's what's happening. We're coming into this new age of knowing, and so they're trying to divert it and keep seeding this energy towards this transhumanism agenda. But that's why this whole Q psyop is going where it is, and it's trying to continue this basically this program that's already been diverted, and there's already a program in place ready to replace this obsolete program of duality that we've already learned from. And so, well as we know time is a web, this will continue in some way, shape, or form in for those who have to come to that point of knowing. But we're being given the opportunity now to all have that collective knowing and choose what pearl are we going to step into, what realm are we going to step into, and what are we going to create here to continue on. Are we going to continue on that new world order that's taking over for the old world order, that's just going to put in a monetary system that is a microchip that monitors every neural brainwave and thought form, that actually goes into an algorithm that they can detect whether you're thinking of any kind of thought of dissension or retaliation? You know what I'm saying? Like what reality are you seeing for yourself? And I know that I'm here to see the reality of truth, that you have the power. It's within you. It's not within your pastor. It's not within the guy on fucking CNN or CNBC or Fox News. It's not in Donald Trump. It's not in fucking Joseph Walking Wisdom. It's not in fucking Freedom Girl. It's in yourself. God is in you. And if you have somebody else telling you, you need to follow me because I have all the answers, then that person is here to, they're not only here to deceive you, but they're self-deceived, because they believe that they have all the answers for you, when really the only place that you can find those answers is in yourself. And so that's really what it all boils down to, family, is the kingdom of God is within you. And if you're going to seek God, seek them within yourself, and don't seek them in a mainstream media news source. Don't seek them in an alternative media news source. Turn all the shit off. Turn the TV off. Turn Hollywood off. Turn YouTube off for fucking 4 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, and sit on your ass and connect with that inner space, that darkness, that space that's infinite, that doesn't even exist. And then you'll realize what truth is. And you'll realize that you're a co-creator here to seed a reality of truth and of love. Sorry, man.
I freaking love it. I love it. I'm reading the chat too while you're speaking. And Luciana Deloy said, we create biophotons when we meditate. And I think that's so profound and such a great perspective to bring, because where do the biophotons come from? You know, what is a generator of biophotons? What is a generator of light?
Mm-hmm.
And when we look inside, where are the thoughts coming out of? You know, where is the consciousness? Like I explained earlier, an elevator just going up and up and up, faster and faster and faster, just never ending overflowing energy. Where is it coming from? You know, you can only see it from the place it's coming from, which is, like you're saying, in you. You were given everything you needed, that nothing missing, nothing broken. There's nothing that can be taken away or given to you that's more than what you've received, which was a free gift, because everything you have, even the frickin' piece of copper, you can't explain truly what it is. We can't take any credit for it. We received it all.
Mm-hmm.
Where from? Inside us, essentially. I mean, it's like, oh, wow. So it's like the one out here that's been lost can't take credit, but the one in here is beyond understanding. So this one can only look, the one in lack can only look at the one that's not in self-lack, and its knee bends, its tongue confesses. It doesn't have a choice when it looks at the truth. Now, somehow we have free will to look away. We can go back and play with the false identity and the ego and take it to an imbalance. But I believe when you're looking at the truth, the one that's in self-lack becomes that one that's no longer in self-lack. It becomes a new identity, a new body.
Yeah, it definitely changes. Yeah.
Right? And so a new identity. And it's all something that you can't take credit for. That's the most amazing thing about it. It all has to be through humility, because the second you go, oh, well, I'm God, and, you know, if I'm with the body, you know, that means I'm the Most High. Well, would the fingernail ever say it is the full vessel? You know, would it ever try to take credit for being more than just the fingernail? No, you're just a fractal of, but that's the beautiful thing, because you're a fractal of something that is nothing missing, nothing broken. You're a fractal of something that is not changing, that is constant, that is not shifting sands, that is reliable. And that is everything you need. What else could you ever want?
Well, that's where we get knocked off balance, man, is that we think that we go on this never-ending search of trying to become whole when we're already whole. We've just been knocked off balance, baby. We've just been knocked off balance, bro. We're it's like you said, we're the fingernail and we think that we're missing the fucking body, but we're not. We're just off balance. We think that the body's not there. We either think we're everything or we think we're nothing. But really we are serving a part. We are part of the whole. And so we're already whole, and we're just coming into that awareness of being whole. And that awareness can only come from going to that 0 point of darkness where all light is burst from, right? Because that's just that all light is burst from darkness. Like you said, that biophotonic light has that center point of darkness, that dark hole, that black sun inside of the white sun. And that really boils down to the macro micro. That's our pineal gland, and it's created and it's not created. It's matter and it's spirit. And so how do we merge those things? How do we merge those things? We merge them first by coming into that light of truth, right? And realizing,
it's like you said too, where's the separation? Whereas, because you're making the point earlier, it's like there is no right matter and spiritual, light and dark. Mm-hmm. It's a constant flowing energy in and outside of it. So it's our words and this mindset of self-lack that separate it, that try to make us, for one, we like it because it's the false illusion of superiority, right? Somewhere along the lines, maybe it was from the start, we got smacked as a baby. They put a shot in us. We're told we got to go be somebody, get a title, do all this. And you got bullied and you realize there was a rush to be the bully or whatever it was. There's somewhere maybe you couldn't be the bully, but then you just felt like, well, I'm better than everybody because I wasn't a bully, right? You took the superior. Well, I was never an asshole like them, so now I'm better than that bully. But you never walked in the bully's shoes. You never became it's like that bully was beat by his dad and abused and sexually molested by his pastor. It's like, and so we realize everyone has a path. They all have a perspective. They've experienced things. And what's really easy to do is to not look at the perspective we have, but try to judge someone else's perspective, which we don't have, to try to say, based on my internal conscience that sears me, which I am not applying in my own life, I'm going to apply it to the perspective I don't actually have, which is your life, which I see from, again, a limited perspective. You've never walked in another man's shoes. So that's what is the bait we take, is I'm either a loser because somebody kicked you in the balls. And so now you feel like I'm less than, I got to go defend myself. I got to go prove myself, show someone. And then you actually won. And now you feel like you're better than, and you've got a right to all this money and these assets, and you worked for it and you played the game better. And they're, you say nice things, but in your head, you deserve it. I earned this. And it's like, well, wait a minute. There's homeless people all over starving, and yeah, but we can't, I'm not responsible for them. Fuck them. It's like, okay, well, the truth is we're responsible for everything we see. We're responsible for our perspective, because who else could take responsibility for it? So if we give our power away to anything, any self-lack we see, even outside of ourselves, and we say we can't move that mountain, we gave our power away. Who else could do it but you? You're the only one. You're a co-heir, child of the Most High, walking with, you want to call it a Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, because it's just signposts. Romans gave us lots of spells and words to use. But if it's the truth, it has the attributes of the truth. That's what I always say is, does it look like, does it appear to be, can you confirm in yourself that it's true freedom? I think that's so important. Like, where does freedom exist How could it be outside of your perspective? And is it possible within the framework of what you've allowed to be possible? Or is it just a wish and a belief that someone taught you in a book that you're going to see it out here, but yet all you see is corruption? So my proposal is the only thing we would ever know as true freedom, or even heaven, or good, right, true, is because the Most High put it in us. That's that internal conscious. We see the perspective of the Garden of Eden. That's why we know heaven is so good. It's because we see it in us. There's potential for so much more, infinitely, right? Or beyond infinite. And so we have to take accountability for it, because who else would? If we're the light of the world, we have oil in our lamps, we're the ones here to bring the kingdom of the Most High back onto the plane of this realm. Well, we got to be ready to do greater things. We got a lot of work to do. That's exciting. We hold the light. We're going to relocate the energy everywhere it needs to go. And we're going to heal this thing within the realm of the perspective we've been given. We're only responsible to what we see. If you don't see what I see, you're not responsible to that. I see this truth I'm speaking, so I have to be responsible for what's available within inside the gift that the Most High has given me. And I would only pray that others would see that and more.
Definitely. Discernment plays a big key in that, because we are in being electromagnetic energy, in being that eternal energy. Everything that we say, everything that we do has a ripple effect. And so I think you touched on the ripple effect earlier, you know what I'm saying? And so every move we make does really we do have to take that responsibility of saying what I do does have an impact on what I'm experiencing and what others are experiencing. Because I think that that's what you said, we have a lot of work to do. I think that that's where that work is in knowing that, all right, hey, what's one of the hardest things to do? Confess. And that means being responsible and taking accountability. That's really what confession is, right? Just agreeing that, hey, I am accountable and responsible for A, B, or C, whatever it might be. And so that it takes that confession of, all right, I'm accountable, I'm responsible for what I'm experiencing, and what I'm experiencing and creating has an effect on those that are around me, because this energy all does meld together and it is all connected. And so what are we responsible for? Our own space. And then that will reverberate out into this reality. And I've literally seen both sides of it, man. I've seen where space of fear, of even anger and rage, and I see that shit manifesting outwardly. And then I'm in times of peace, I see manifesting outwardly these waves of peace washing over the people that I'm connected with, whether it's through social media or personally. But I see the effects of what my space creates in this. And so that's really what it boils down to, is taking that personal accountability and responsibility of what am I creating with thought forms that I've given my power over to, and even created as God form, either A or B want to look to as the responsible one to come save me, when really, again, as we pointed on many times in this show, the one that's responsible is found within. It's found within you. You are the one that you're looking for. You are looking for. And that you have your own personal role to play in that council, in that seat, in that being the freaking nose hair, whatever your own part to play, because the nose hair catches, right? the fingernail protects the ends of your finger. You know what I'm saying? Even we're talking beard, your hair is actually an extension of your nerve, which gives you a perception that is received.
Never trust a man without a beard. Oh, you froze up. I lost you. What happened?
I don't know. It's breaking up, man. It broke up for a minute. Are you there?
Yeah, you're back.
All right. Yeah, you froze up. I don't know.
Oh, I was just making a joke. I said never trust a man without a beard, but that's funny because I always shave my beard in the springtime, but I'm not this year, man. I'm not doing it. I'm going. Okay. This is forever now. For as long as the shifting sands keep this false illusion of solidarity.
Yeah, no doubt. I told my wife it was kind of like a fast thing, you know. I was fasting in a way. They told me I should do it, and I haven't heard that yet until I hear the creator saying you need to shave it off. I don't see that happening anytime soon. It's my antenna. It's they're out there picking up some waves to help me perceive what's going on and how I should walk and what I should share, what kind of ripples I need to send out, because I know even recently in the chaos and in these influxes of energy, I know wish I could take back, and family caught in that space of regret and living in the past, like whatever.
Up, you're breaking up again. You're doing a great job, brother, but it's breaking up now. I freaking love hearing you speak, but yeah, I'm here. But it might be maybe it's might be on my end here. Damn, it's choppy tonight going over to YouTube. Yeah, here, let me no, I don't think it's anything on my end because it says I'm not dropping any frames. It says I'm 100%. Is it? And I'm not choppy, right? Let's see at the chat. Is Joe choppy or am I choppy or are we both choppy? Just curious. Or none of us choppy. And if none of us are choppy, then I'll just deal with it because I can still usually make it out when it breaks up. Joe a bit, yeah. So they say we're both fine now, though. Yeah, we're good now. I can hear you, and the video sometimes a little bit, but oh yeah, you could just go to. You can't lower your resolution, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Thanks, Karen. Sometimes I text or speak what I think, and then I'm like, shit, I've lost my mind. So it's good to get validation. Dude, I love your perspective, though, and I appreciate you, brother. And I appreciate the work that you do, and I hope that people support you and thumbs up the video. You know, it's like, I hope you come over to D Live because, dude, it's just a way more rewarding platform when it comes to how they respect you and treat you and, you know, leave you with your dignity and all that stuff. And I would do whatever I could to shine a light on your, you know, you could restream there. I could host your stream too and get some people your way.
That'd be awesome, man. I'm actually, I've got the app downloaded and I just got to sign up, and I'm gonna Apple, but you know, who knows without the way all of this shit is going. You know, there's rumors of the internet being shut down, rolling black shit.
What's your gut say?
So, what does my gut say?
Yep.
My gut says, my gut, my heart, and my mind tell me to be.
Oh, I'm losing you.
I think that what my gut is saying is that all of these things I'm experiencing, all of these things that we've been experiencing are going to play out just like the things that we've been experiencing. We're waiting for this impact, right? We've been waiting for this impact. And I think that the impact is going to come in a way that quantum consciousness in a way that people aren't expecting. It's not going to be a nuclear, not going to be, it's going to be an asteroid. In that asteroid hitting and striking and spreading this wave over the earth, it's that energetic field of quantum consciousness. This perceive as the earth, just causing that light to fall on all dark corners.
Getting pretty bad, dude. I got to be honest. It's breaking up pretty bad. You'd almost be better to just cut the video.
Yeah, I think maybe I will stop the cam.
Yeah, even if not for a bit, to see if it gets better, You might retry bringing it, but let's see if that clears the audio up, though.
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit too. And I'm not sure.
I am, Cannabis Cowboy was saying they won't shut down the web because of lost money and all that. I also think they won't because they got to control the narrative. So even if they shut the electricity off, they'll let it come on for like an hour a day, 2 hours a day so we can get on the internet because they want to control. They'll only let you find enough that you can get in an hour, which is all the surface shit, right? You won't be able to dig deep. And you'll basically have laws passed that we can't, say anything because it's too troublesome to the general welfare of the public now because the conspiracy theorists have caused all this. We'll be blamed for it. We're terrorists, domestic terrorists because we spoke what we believed. And we were right, by the way. But yeah, it's going to be interesting times ahead with that kind of stuff. I think the fun has just begun. It's not going to be a dull moment. It's going to be exciting, fresh and exciting for us. Nothing that feels similar to what we've experienced thus far.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And I think that we are in for a wild ride, and I think that we can all sit back and enjoy the ride, man. We can just rest easy knowing that love has won, and that, dude, the work that we have to do of just knowing ourselves, know thyself, know the energy, know the power that you have. Again, if just what the avid organic sleeve, the power that it can, 1.4 volts of electricity raging through each cell in our body. We got like over 7 octillion volts of electricity raging through that we can learn how to, like, you know what I'm saying? We're walking Tesla coils that are drawing energy from the ether.
Hey, how do I shut my video to see if that, here, stop cam. I'm going to see if that helps because you're still breaking up, but maybe it's mine. And if I cut my video, let's see if that works.
You know what, brother? I'm going to go ahead and give you minutes to still is important to share. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, we're breaking up too much now anyway, buddy. Let's do it again, man. I really appreciated the conversation, man. I really love you, brother,
Man,
and I thank you for everything.
Dude, I love
can't hear you, bro.
And I'll definitely give
there
you
you
a
are.
call. I'll give you a call tomorrow so we can definitely touch base outside of.
Hey, dude, we know the signal's fine, right? They don't want this conversation to happen because now we're both breaking up. I have no drop signal. Literally, my signal's stronger than it usually is right now. So they don't want this conversation.
Yeah, mine is saying it's strong as well.
Yeah, we're getting messed with, bro. That's it, though. But that shows you, man, we're hitting a nerve. And it doesn't matter, even if it's a small stream and there's only a handful of people, they don't want anyone to hear truth that points to what actually can create a difference in people's mindset and lives and be empowering the way we need to be in these times, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, next time, cool, man. I'm looking forward to talking about a lot of stuff regarding the energy and the actual vortex that we are.
Let's do it, man.
Bro. And so I'll have some slides up for that one before we jump on here. But I look forward to it, man. Is there anything you want to share with anybody in the chat?
Just be your authentic self. And if you don't know what that is, find out, and don't feel like you're in any rush, right? Or anxiety or fear, because if anything we said was true or not true, the Most High at minimum is not bound by space or time. So even if we are, you know, the Most High will be done. If a great work has been started in you, it will be finished. So enjoy the ride. You know, this is life. This is the unexplainable, amazing, dynamic, good and bad that, you know, we're walking through this experience, and we're learning all these things. And truthfully, sometimes we just want to get out of here, right? We're like, man, I just want to go home. Damn, I hate this world. Why is it so ugly? But then you look at your child, or you have a friendship, you make a relationship with someone, and you build something on trust. You're like, damn, if I went out right now, I would miss this moment with my family. I would miss that friendship. I would miss that smile of the old man I see at the coffee shop, you know? And I'm already missing it because now I can't go to the coffee shop or whatever, right? I can't, we're stuck. We're quarantined. So let's be thankful and grateful with the perspective we have, because we have much to be thankful for. And if you don't have anything to be thankful for, you're accountable to that. You know, you're responsible for that perspective. And that's all I can say is, you know, we each have the free will and the choice to choose. And so don't give your power away. Don't let somebody else define you when you've been given the greatest gift there is, if you've humbled yourself and realized that truth. That's all I got to say. Peace, my family. I love you all in the chat. Thank you for hanging.
Brother, I can't agree with you more. Be love. Be love. And I look forward to talking to you again, man. I think that a lot of important things were touched on tonight, and I know that things will be touched on when we chat again, man. I do need to touch base with you because I need a couple of pointers. I'll give you a ring tomorrow. Hopefully we could talk on the phone tomorrow a little bit about some of those pointers I need, and making some of that what's the supplies you gave me. So
oh yeah, you bet, man. Absolutely. Glad, here to help, brother. Here to help.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be around.
I appreciate it.
I'm on Corona time, brother. So I'm here. We're hanging, you know.
Sure, and
cheers, brother.
Let nobody see you around, man.
Exactly.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Peace, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, friends. Cheers.
That was my brother Rick, Freedom Grower. I will drop a link for his channel in the comments. I will drop a link for his channel in the comments. I do want to tell you guys, if you received anything from this, you know, just go over, give his channel a subscribe and a like. Check out some of his content, man. He's got some deep stuff. He's got some comical, even his comical stuff and his turns into some really deep stuff. And so I just want to let you guys all know that we're here to grow, and growing we are. Growing that light and that love and the energy that's been given Creator, knowing part to play in bringing heaven on earth. Don't just lay back and be overtaken by the fears that are being propagated and just continually perpetuated in the alternative media, even in our own hearts and minds. Man, we weren't given but one of strength and of a sound mind. And as we're going to the shadow of death, we're being in family. We are love, creator, and perfect love casts out fear. And so be perfected in this time of being unsure. Just allow that that love to push you to persevere through everything that you're facing, everything that we're facing as a society, as collective humanity, facing things that are pretty crazy. Just assured that and be that love. It's where you can love yourself because God is in you. Then you can learn how to love your neighbor as yourself because they house that same energy, that same spirit of God. And so it's only when we come to realize that we can change this whole thing, flip it upside down, and turn it around. And so, family, rest assured that that's already happened. Love has already won, and we just have to enjoy the ride. Things are going to get a little wild. Things are going to get a little bumpy, but be excited about it. Look at it like a roller coaster. We got ups and downs, and big dips coming ahead of us. But we're going to make it through, and we are going to be. It's going to be exhilarating, family. The things that we experience, and the things that we create, are going to just our minds. And so, family, all love, light, wholeness, and balance. And thank y'all for joining for this live stream. And just know again that love is one, and don't let this virus scare shake you. Don't let talk of a new world order shake you. Don't let this talk of world-ending cataclysms shake you, because you can't kill off this energy, and we don't have to fear. Again, perfect love casts out fear. And so